it really just threw me out, okay? It threw me out of it. And we're going to get a little bit more into that, but it is a morning Monday, okay? Not because it's morning time, okay? Just get that clear, all right? I won't state that all the way through. It'll probably change up. But make sure you guys find at the Blitz _sports. And while you're at it, go and follow on Twitter. Talk. And if you want to hop on, 255-76-4977 is the number to call. And this first hour is presented by Flank. Guys, you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you have any roofing problems, remember, Flank always shows up. You're live hanging with the Chillest crew of 2 in the booth, keeping us on the airways, I think, just barely. The one, the only, Bandi Man, Harry.
Wowee! Yahoo!
Yeah, I can hear that, and I want to turn up my mic, okay, so I can now actually hear you, all right? And I can hear myself too. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Bandi. I can't hear you at all, except for through the doorway that we got. Okay, that everybody's sitting along with us on this experimental episode. What happened on the recruiting blitz? That's what I want to know. Was the recruiting blitz fine? I know Drew was sitting in this exact same seat.
Yeah, recruiting blitz went fine.
Huh.
Yeah, and then the board got flipped out.
Oh, and that's when the board got flipped out. Okay, so it started out with. Okay, so he had the old board. Now we're on this new board, okay? I sound very fresh whenever I'm talking. Huh? The old board totally died, okay. It's a Monday. It's a Monday, guys. I haven't even gotten into the time. Bandi, first thing I'm going to start out with was, how was your weekend, my guy? He's giving me a thumbs up. It was a good weekend.
For that?
I heard Paul just pop up at one point. But no, I mean, a good weekend from Bandi, okay? I'm not going to get too into that until I can genuinely hear him, okay? But I will say this. I woke up this morning, all right? I woke up to my mom texting me saying, hey, we might have jury duty. They haven't told us anything about it yet. And I'm just going to tell you guys a little story, and they're going to figure it out. Bandi and the chat are going to figure things out over there. But I'll tell you about this little story. So I wake up, okay, at 5-something. That's when the Tom's coming upstairs. He's about to hit the studio, okay? So I'm just laying in bed. I hear Tom coming up. I wake up at 5:30. And that's when I look at my phone. I'm just like, I gotta get the script ready for the show, and we gotta get rolling. It's gonna be a good day though. It's gonna be a good early morning start to a day. And then I ended up getting some of my script done. Then I fell asleep, and then I went back at it on the script. And then I got a text from my mother, and she said, "Hey, we might have jury duty." And yes, we're having jury duty at the exact same time. It's the luck of the draw right there. It really is. I'm glad that I got to go with her. I've never gone with her before. Hey, Bandi, how you doing? I see you're chilling out in the studio now.
Yep, now I'm over here.
Heck yeah. This is the time I could now see, are you getting what I'm getting where you kind of go out and in?
Yeah, a little bit. I
No.
see what you mean now. I wasn't hearing it. I was hearing it a little bit over on my end, but now I don't know. It seems to be working out now, but
That's weird.
We're going to work through these difficulties.
Yeah. Talk about it.
And still bring you the afternoon blitz.
Exactly. But I'll continue with my morning story because I woke up and I had to get ready and I called these people and I was like, do we have jury duty today? Because they were talking to us they were sending us messages like, hey, you know what, these are the days you don't have jury duty, which that's great. The website, it shows all the days that there's no jury duty, all the days that there is. The thing is, I looked on the website this morning and it said that we already missed the jury duty date. I texted my mom that and she was like, oh my gosh, like, really? Which day? And then she said, they sent me a text that said this wasn't a jury duty day. But today was an actual jury duty day. It was my first day going over to the jury. And sitting in there, me and my mom were playing some tic-tac-toe. I beat her more than she beat me, and she was, talking a lot of crap about it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just better. That's just how it is. And then we started playing Hangman, and let me tell you, I did not know. I haven't played Hangman in a while, but I could not. I'm not good at that game. I am not.
Man, I've tried.
Huh?
I can't be good at Hangman either.
The first thing I think about is A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y, okay?
Yeah, you got to get the vowels in there.
Exactly. And most of the time, that's what I go for. But every single time I was throwing on a vowel at her, she was saying, just add another body part. This guy's going to be done for in a little bit. But I was a little upset, but it was whatever. We had a lot of time to just hang out, a little one-on-one time with my mother. And then turned out, that we ended up not having jury duty today, which thankfully I wouldn't be on here to talk about the Super Bowl, talk about all the crazy stuff that happened over the weekend. It could be because the guy in another room, he was like, yeah, I'm guilty.
He just went, I'm guilty.
He just admitted it. He didn't want to waste everybody's time, and you know what? I appreciate that. He should get a little bit of time out of jail for that. But he is guilty, and I don't know what he did. But you know what? So it's not something I have to worry about. But Bandi, now that I can actually hear you, how was your weekend? Because I mean, you gave me the thumbs up, so that has to be good.
I mean, it was good. I mean, pretty. I would say eventful weekend. I guess. I mean, a lot of gaming done. Got a good amount of streaming done, and. Went over and kept. I will say, I now highly appreciate UAH basketball a lot more.
Ooh, why is that?
Went over. Well, it's not really a bad thing. It's more. I went over and watched Swanee play. This weekend, and it's like the level lower than UAH. I forget what to call it.
I don't know. It's weird because isn't UAH D2?
They are, but I think it's
different division in D2.
Yeah, different division. I think
that's weird. I don't understand all that stuff fully. I should probably get my knowledge up. But it's like we only cover mainly the stuff that people want to hear about. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know people want to hear about UAH, of course, because they're right in our neighborhood. But like schools like Swanee, okay, they used to be in the SEC. We were able to. We were able to talk about now that. But we were able to talk about them back in like maybe 1904. Okay, but nowadays nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear about that. But how was Swanee's place? Because I've never seen their facility. Yeah. Their actual school it's like an old-fashioned castle. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I've never been inside their gym though. That's the one thing.
Yeah. The sports talk before we hit this first break and get into the meat and potatoes of the show, because today is February 2023, the 12th day, okay? Oh, the 13th day, actually. We're getting that much closer to a Valentine's Day, which is tomorrow, which me and Bandi will have to work a basketball game. But you know what? It's going to be totally fun, because I look forward to it every single time. So we're going to have fun with that. Do you know who they're playing yet? Not off the top of my head, no.
Don't they have to play? It
was the winner of Muscle Shoals, and then...
you always forget the other one. That's the thing.
It's always the other one that escapes my mind.
We'll look into that a little bit. But let's get into the stuff you guys need to know for today, and we're going to get into the Super Bowl later on, so, don't worry about that. But I'd like to announce that the Crimson Tide finally sits atop not only the SEC, but the entire college basketball world for the first time since 2002. Wow. Way back when. What'd you say, Chad? You talking to us? Can you hear...
I think so, a little bit.
I can hear you kind of coming up a little bit. What a show! What a great show right now.
Just through the hallway.
He came in my ear. He came into my ear a little bit for a second, but he kind of went out as soon as he did. But either way, Purdue has managed to lose two games in the span of 2 weekends, making them falter a little bit later in the season. Which it's something that happens. Which I'm kind of glad that Alabama hasn't been at that number 1 spot, because there's a lot at stake when you're at number 1, okay? One little mistake can push you back very far. We saw that even being in the top 5 could do that, because Tennessee, they're not even in the top 10 anymore. few losses for them, and they're going to be right back at place number 15, and that's where they're going to be sitting after the 2 losses they've had in a row. But that's the next opponent for the Crimson Tide team. They'll be facing off on Wednesday, and it should be a pretty good one, despite the 2 losses that Tennessee has had in their last 2 games, because they want to be back up there, sitting right next to Alabama at the top 5. Okay.
Yeah. It's always Alabama, Tennessee.
Exactly. It's got to be Alabama, Tennessee, especially in this day and age where we see some of the 2 best teams in the SEC are in football, Alabama and Tennessee. Obviously, Georgia is in there as well, and some other teams. But right now, the 3 best teams in the SEC when it comes to football is Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Right now in basketball, it's Alabama, Tennessee. Who's sitting third? You think? It's Texas A&M. Texas A&M is second, okay? And then Tennessee is sitting at 3, okay? And Alabama hasn't played either of those teams yet this season, okay? And they're sitting 12-0 in the conference play. So they're doing very good against the entire conference, but they haven't gone up against these teams that will really push them to their competitive abilities, okay? Because they're going to be going up against Tennessee, all right? That's going to happen Wednesday. And then the final game of the season. Yo. I could hear you over the earways right there, Chad.
Wait, so is that in your ear?
So this one's in my ear right now.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah. Figuring stuff out. If you guys are watching on WZZN TV, you'd see that Bandi is sitting in the room with me like an old-fashioned show. We're throwing it back a little bit, but either way. But the last game of the season will be Alabama versus Texas A&M or ATM, whichever you want to call them, okay? But that will be the final game to determine if they can go undefeated in the conference. But they have to get past a good Tennessee team before they can even try to be undefeated altogether. And the last time that happened was a really good Kentucky team that went out early in the Sweet 16 to a Wisconsin team.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that. Bandi, you're the basketball man, so I can't go too much into it, but we definitely will talk a little bit more about some Alabama basketball with James Benedetto from Tide Illustrated later on in the show. Hopefully everything will be worked out because we don't even know what's going to happen when we get a phone caller in.
No, we did. No, we're going with the recruiting blitz today. Phone calls did work.
Okay, the phone calls did work.
That was like the only thing that was consistent were phone calls.
Okay, but that was prior to the new board, though.
A little bit. We plugged in that same board for the recruiting blitz. So there
you go.
Why don't we just switch it out?
I hear Chad still. Chad, don't be talking slap over there, all right? We keep changing boards. We do keep changing boards. We're trying to update and get through a show. The other one did just crap out. So, we got to work with what we got, okay? And this is the one we got right now. We'll probably be better off tomorrow. It wouldn't be as crisscross of a show. But I think we're going to hop into a break, and then when we come back, maybe have everything figured out. But we're going to continue on with this great show. We got a lot more stories to come, as well as great guest in one, James Benedetto. We're going to go over some Super Bowl action in the second segment of this afternoon Blitz here on this Mundane Monday. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it a Mundane Monday instead of a Morning Monday. So you guys don't get confused. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Champy's famous fried chicken started in Chattanooga, but the history of the fried chicken, hand-rolled Mississippi Delta tamales, and comfort food sides started decades before. Champy's famous fried chicken is made from an old family recipe from down in the Delta, and everything is fresh and homemade, including all of the sides and desserts. Come visit Champy's famous fried chicken. You'll find it's the best fried chicken and hand-rolled tamales you've ever had. On Madison Boulevard in the old Bison's location in the Publix Plaza with 22 taps in the full-service bar and 2 outdoor patios. See ya at Champy's.
This is Wes Neighbors with Phillip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
The new Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in South Huntsville is focused on serving great food prepared with the absolute freshest ingredients, featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. See all the delicious options at Cheeseburger Bobby's for yourself. Check out the menu and more at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop. If you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Van Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestvancarehuntsville.com.
The new Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in South Huntsville is focused on serving great food prepared with the absolute freshest ingredients, featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. This week, our zone deal is $50 worth of Cheeseburger Bobby's for half price, just $25. Get yours Friday at 97.7 ESPN.com.
The Stretch Zone, with 2 locations in the Tennessee Valley, will get you ready for whatever spring activities you have planned, from golf to tennis or just to increase your general activity. The Stretch Zone can get you limbered up to feel your best. Plus, you'll be taught the best stretches that you can do on your own in between visits to one of our 2 locations in Hampton Cove in Huntsville or on Balch Road in Madison. Visit StretchZone.com for more information. That's StretchZone.com and be the best of you. Learn more at StretchZone.com.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, into a really just it should be a wacky Monday right now, but I don't want to take that name because we're gonna have to use it on Wednesday. But welcome back to a beautiful Monday here in No Man's Land. Welcome to the Afternoon Blitz on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandi man, Bailey Lowry.
Yep.
And you can find us online at theblitzsportsradio.com, as well as the Twitter sphere at @theblitz_sports. And we're still trying to figure things out here, okay? We're still trying to figure it all out here in the studio, okay? A new board, just to update anybody who's starting to listen right now, a new board has been put in because the old board decided to say, I'm done working for you guys, and he just totally stopped working. So we're getting it all figured out, getting it all fixed up. But if you guys want to join in, talk a little bit of Super Bowl action, as well as many of other things under the sun, you can call us at 256-576-4977. And this first hour is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you have any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online and fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. Now, I want to get into a little bit more of this fun stuff. I didn't get to get into a lot of my my beginning headlines. They're pretty big, actually. Some you guys have probably seen. They've been going on for a while. Derek Carr kind of being set to release because he's saying, no, I don't want a trade clause. I want that $40 million extra, and I want to move on the way I know how. Okay, so he wants that extra money, all right? But he also does not want to be with this team anymore, okay? There's 2 things about this right now that are fine, okay? Obviously, his no trade clause on his old contract is there, so he has the option to not be traded, and it'll also mean that he'll get another $40 million, okay, guaranteed, all right? He recently visited with the New Orleans Saints, but there are a few teams, okay? There's not only one team that is looking at this guy because, I mean, obviously going into next season, there's plenty of teams we can even just name off right now that would love to have a veteran quarterback, especially like Derek Carr, because he still wants to go. He still wants to go. He's only 31 years old, and the he's driven by something.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
All right. That channel's messed up or something. It has to be.
The channel was messed up?
Yeah.
I had a feeling it must have been just that one. Everybody, the chat, by the way.
I put it in channel 3, and channel 3, I mean, it's just troubleshooting. It's just little stuff, you never know. It could be something big, it could be something small, but when something doesn't work like that, it's not going to work. So
exactly.
So for right now, we're probably not going to be able to do any remotes because I don't think the remote access is working. So if you guys go out in the world, you're not going to be able to hear you guys. But
we go out and play Pokemon Go in the park. We can't.
Right.
We can't.
I'm going to try to test it out in a second. I'll let you guys keep doing your thing. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put it back on the other channel 1 and see if it does anything or if that was really the issue.
It's all good, Chad. We appreciate everything you're doing for us over there because, again, we're all kind of working at this at our same pace. Okay, we didn't expect that to be going down, but you know what? That Channel 3 sounded pretty good, Bandi, I will say.
It did sound pretty good.
Those little crackles, on the other hand, maybe not as much, but
that might be why we were hearing the stats. It might have been Channel 1.
I'm not even going to ask Chad to do the sounder for the cool segment because there's so much we need to get into, and he's also doing his own thing.
Here.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
I love it. Hot in here. Let it ride. Man can do a lot at the same time. Spicy meatball.
So it's time to cool down with Captain Cool.
At least some things feel normal. No. Yeah, he's turned up all the way, and he can. I can't hear you, Chad.
Yeah.
I can hear you, Bandi, because you're right next to me, but I can't hear Chad. I can hear you now.
Oh, it's because something, it was because that volume was turned up way too loud on the headset. That's what you hear. Watch, listen. You hear the hiss? You hear the hiss?
A little bit. I heard the little crackles. There was a lot of crackles going on.
I'm going to turn it down and it should be good.
If you can, You don't even have to worry about that other music. I actually like a little bit of ambiance. All right.
You better be cool.
You better be cool. I never heard that part, actually. That's hilarious. I never heard that part of the song. Now I know. But I want to get into a story that's not so cool first before we get into some of the Super Bowl talk, because last week Cam Thomas got into a little bit of a heat because of a post-game interview that he had going on after the Brooklyn Nets defeated the Chicago Bulls. And I gotta admit, this one's got me a little upset. What are you doing, Bandi? Oh, you
had to move the mic.
There's a lot of mics going here.
Yeah, I had to move it. It was no, it was in front of the camera.
Oh, it was in front of the camera. I thought it was
in front of the camera.
I thought it was halting your ability to do a lot of that stuff. Just imagine. I don't know if the stream's on right now, but just imagine if they got to see every little detail that's going on right now with this. But this story, okay, with Cam Thomas got me a little bit upset, Bandi. Okay, I talked to you a little bit about it beforehand to make sure, hey, you know what, we're on the same page, all right? I don't want to be ruffling anybody's feathers online and stuff like that, because that's exactly what I guess Cam Thomas did. But I don't really think that he ruffled too many people's feathers, because most of the comments that I've seen about this whole thing were all over the place. They were mainly on his side of, oh, well, this is this type of culture we're in now. We can't really be saying this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not really that offensive. Let me tell you about this first, because the comment that he made, all right, on live television slapped him a $40,000 fine, all right, just for something he said on national television that I gotta admit I wouldn't even bat an eye at, especially at the way that he said it, okay, because it didn't bring any offense to me, all right. I don't think it brought offense to a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm not able to really talk on the people who it will actually offend, but I gotta say, I just don't see it. It's a normal thing. I feel like people sometimes say, but it was in response to TNT's Jared Greenberg's comment on the recent trade and adding good looks and added where they're lacking in the good look department. Now, first off, I could say that's offensive. Okay, you're calling this team a little ugly, whatever. Okay. It was a dumb question. It was a dumb question, but it was also, a goofy question. He wanted to throw it in there. Oh, Xbox or PS5. He's poking fun at him. Added the good looks to where looks are needed. And then Thomas, he went on to say, well, we already had good-looking guys, and then he finished it off with a casual. It just like no homo. He just said, oh, we have a good no homo.
Yeah.
He was fine.
We have a lot of good-looking guys.
He was like, there's like nothing about it, just no homo. I'm gonna clarify, I very casually, I'm gonna clarify that, I don't have any intent on being sexually attracted to my teammates. I just think they are, attractive men. No homo. You gotta finish it off, Bandi. We've been in this society long enough. Even Lonely Island's made a song out of this. Yeah. Okay. You gotta add it at the end just to clarify, because people are going to go crazy on the Twitter sphere, speculating things that aren't true. If you go back into that locker room after that interview and some of your teammates have seen it, they're going to start teasing you. At least now they'll tease him for saying it on live television and being like, oh, you actually said that? I was like, well, I was genuine about it. Like, I just want people to know where I sit when it comes to that type of stuff, Yeah. People say, and again, feel the way you want to feel. You can feel whatever way you want to feel. This is just kind of opinions going out, okay? I have no ill will to anybody. If you're doing whatever you want to do and you're happy and you're a good person, you're fine, all right? Do what you want to do, okay? But it gets to a point where you think it, and it's like somebody who goes on air and says that, they announce that they are homosexual. They get praised for that type of stuff, okay? Totally fine, If you want to start, saying they're brave, that's totally fine, okay? Especially athletes in a sport that is, dominated by straight men, okay? I mean, we've seen this before in the NFL, all right? We've seen this before in basketball. We've seen this in different leagues. People praise them for that, okay? But if you go on air and you say, I'm not gay, just I'm not homosexual, oh, no, you can't say that. You can't say that, all right? Because it's offensive. Again, if you guys have an opinion on it, the listeners, if you guys have an opinion on this, definitely call in 256-576-4977. I just want to know how it could be offensive to a certain demographic. Bandi, what do you think about this whole situation right now?
I mean, I actually went back and looked up what other players have been fined. Like, other players who have been fined $40,000? What did they do to get fined $40,000?
Yeah.
I mean, we had Anthony Edwards actually
Chad's happy.
Using some anti-gay remarks on an Instagram video.
Okay.
I remember that thing, he got fined $40,000 for that.
Was it genuinely though anti? Was it just oh? It's
yeah, he
not
was
good?
calling a group of people gay. It's like,
well,
that's
yeah,
gay.
That can be seen as offensive because he's shooting that word at a group of people that may or may not even be gay, and it shouldn't even be offensive to even ask. Like, it shouldn't be used as that type of word.
Yeah. And then, I cannot hear you right now.
I can't hear you, Ben.
I'm sorry.
He's just chesting out some stuff. But, Benny, continue.
But another one was when Yusuf Nurkic
took
a fan's phone and threw it into the crowd.
Oh, that's a pretty big deal.
I'd say that warrants a pretty big fine.
It's just like a person courtside just having the time of his life watching this basketball game.
Can
You
you
just
guys hear me on this?
I can hear you on.
I did hear you on that.
Yeah, I can
You
hear
guys
you on
can
that.
hear me on this?
I can.
Oh, sweet. Then I figured it out.
Good job, Chad. Where's the sounder?
Yeah, I gotta tell Steve this.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you gotta tell
I
everybody
gotta tell
this.
Steve this.
Good job.
I gotta tell Steve this.
Yeah, I can.
Well, don't use channel 1 on that board.
All right,
Okay.
we want you to use channel
it's
one.
really just channel 1 that's messed up.
You got a little
But
echo
he
going.
couldn't hear. Well, it's because of the.
Yeah. We're really figuring it out. This is a really down-to-earth episode of the Afternoon Blitz. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I would say like Anthony Edwards just throwing in a no homo after.
Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas, yeah.
Yeah.
Cam
You get
Thomas
mixed up with the
just throwing that in. After describing his team as a bunch of good-looking guys, I don't think that warrants a $40,000 fine. To the point of what other players have done, they got fined that same amount.
if you want to fine him, fine him, $20K if anything, and even that is just a humongous amount of money to fine somebody. I know, obviously, these players make money. Okay, all right. But at the point, it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, I mean, he literally just said this. It slipped, and obviously, like, I even say it sometimes when it comes to, and please don't find me, all right? Nobody's going to, but it comes to a point where it's like, I can say that you're an attractive man, Bandi. I think you're an attractive man. I think you got nice-looking eyes. No homo. I'm going to say it, okay? All right? You should be able to finish off your sentence by just clarifying, hey, this is how I am, okay? And I know we're sticking to this a little long, but it's like, that's a lot of money, $40K, and it's just got me reminding myself all the time. This scene right here, okay?
I'm gonna really let him have it. Show him my stuff. Give that man everything I got.
Pause.
Pause. Pause what?
You said something gay, so you gotta say no homo, or else you the homo.
See, there you go. I mean, the Boondocks has taught us this, okay? You just got to make sure. You got to clarify, all right? Sometimes you just got to clarify. To a certain group, somebody's going to think somebody, and it's just going to go crazy. Bandi, did you watch the Super Bowl last night?
I did.
Yeah. First off, overall, how did you feel about it?
Honestly, overall, I think it was a very good game. We had stellar performances from both quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams really came out to play. I mean, the offense were both rolling. I just don't know what happened to Philadelphia's defense in the second half.
Yeah, kind of fell apart. 17 points by the Chiefs in the fourth alone, okay? 7 in the third, and then only 8 points from the Eagles themselves, and that was when they went down to try and tie up the game, which they did, okay?
That 2-point conversion.
It was a good play, 35-35, all of that. Jalen Hurts is a hero of this game. Honestly, if you could give the MVP to a player that's not on the winning team, Jalen Hurts should have got it, okay?
Yeah.
This guy was an absolute beast in this game, okay? He threw for 304 yards. Beast. He had a touchdown throwing. Beast. He scored 3 touchdowns on the feet alone. Absolutely wonky, okay? First off, that's never happened before. First off, this is amazing performance, and it's almost criminal that he didn't get the MVP, and it has to go to Patrick Mahomes because, hey, he's a winning quarterback. It's got to go to him. It couldn't even go to Travis Kelce.
Just wasn't in the script.
Wasn't in the script. And you know what was scripted? The ending of that game, okay? I'm not going to get into it just yet because there's a few things I want to touch on. First, like, the halftime show. Hey, you watched the halftime show.
I did watch the halftime show.
You talked about, hey, your favorite performances during halftime. Obviously, Prince and Michael Jackson's come to mind when you think about that. Any more that come to mind?
Beyonce's, yeah.
Beyonce's was pretty good as well. Okay,
yeah, it's pretty hard to top that.
Oh, yeah.
That one's very hard to top.
Oh yeah, but I gotta say, all right, I haven't seen Rihanna in a long time. Last time I watched her, it was in a film. Actually, it was It Ends. What was it? What is that one? Where it's like the final day on Earth. This is the end. That's what the movie is called. I had to think about it for a second.
This is the end.
She was in that movie, and I was like, oh, she's beautiful. I was like, I have a crush on this woman. That was when I first watched that. Nowadays, obviously, she's had a kid. She's having a second one, apparently. Great, good for her. And you know what? There's a lot of hate online for it, and it's like, why? A lot of women hate this performance.
Wait, really?
And it's a lot of, butthurt moms. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say that, but you know what? I'm going to continue on. But it goes to a point where it's like, what do they want? Obviously, there's Karens out there they're going to complain about everything, and that's exactly what's going on here because, yes, okay, some of her songs have a little bit of choice language, okay?
Oh, is that why?
It's not even fully that why, okay? But I get it, obviously, the woman better have my money. Obviously, that one can maybe get a little bit crazy. All right, the kids aren't gonna be wanting to hear that, or at least the parents don't want the kids to hear that. Okay, the kids love that stuff. Not that they should hear it at all, but I mean, at the end of the day, we had Shakira and who was the other one that performed?
Shakira and Jennifer Lopez.
And Jennifer Lopez shaking their money their mother gave them. All right, a long time ago. That was 2 years ago, I think.
And it was a great halftime show.
Great halftime show. But you know what? There was a little bit of skin, okay? So obviously there's going to be a little bit of complaints. It's like there's kids watching that stuff, it's basically soft porn, all right? What we saw last night was Rihanna dressed in a fully clothed, her body was completely covered. It was a pregnant lady dancing atop this super cool platform, board the platforms, Bandi, okay? Which we've seen great memes already out of it. Super Smash Bros, amazing. Just great stuff. I thought that her whole outfit was really cool. It kind of reminded me of the Hunger Games whenever Katniss had to wear the red at the end, which isn't a spoiler. You guys will get to it. If not, it's already like 5 years old from the last movie that came out.
Yeah, it's pretty far out there.
It's pretty far out there. But
at this point, you've just chosen not to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it was a very cool, very cinematic halftime show. Nothing extremely crazy happened. She just did, her normal act. She did her music. That's about it, okay? Nothing crazy happened, nothing too meme-worthy. I will say it was a bunch of marshmallow people running around having a great time. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I do kind of wish she had gone further back into her catalog, though.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a little Ponda replay.
Yeah, oh my gosh. No, you're not going to get that.
In years.
This is 2023. You're not going to get any of that stuff. That would have been amazing. That would have brought me way back to the 2000s era, okay? Oh, yeah. But great. I still loved a lot of the songs she was playing. I thought she looked good. I thought the whole performance looked amazing. I thought the dancing was perfectly in sync. There were some questionable moments, but you know what? It wasn't that derogatory, I will say.
Bunny costumes were a little weird, though.
Were the bunny costumes?
Yeah, they were bunny costumes at the dancers.
The dancers were bunnies?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Did they have ears?
Yeah.
They had ears? Not all of them.
They had ears.
Did they have ears? I don't remember.
A good bit of them had ears.
I got
they were like or it might have been like the marshmallow people at the end. Or like it looked like it.
Costumes. Marshmallow people. Well, those are all the dancers were like, I just looked up bunny costumes and I just got bunny costumes. That's those. All right. But I mean, overall, I thought it was funny to see these guys dance to these big old jackets. And I know we're going to hit a break here in a second. I didn't even get to talk about half the Super Bowl that I wanted to get into. But either way, still good halftime performance. I think Rihanna did a great job. And and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the field condition because that was also a huge problem. A field that's been in the making for 2 years, okay? 2 years this field's been in the making, $800,000, and you know what? It was crap. It was complete crap. It was a slip and slide out there, and you know what? That affected a lot of the players. But the Eagles aren't going to blame that for the loss. But we're going to get into a little bit more of that when we come back here on the Afternoon Blitz. So don't go anywhere because when we do get back, some more Super Bowl talk as well as the second half of the show is coming up pretty quick. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seed, managing partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com for all our great offers. And get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today. Because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide!
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives. The Blitz has been called.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, into the afternoon Blitz here on a mundane Monday, and that's only because it got a little funky here, but I think it's all back to normal now. Bandy, can you hear me? He might not have it all set up.
I think so.
Okay.
I think I can hear you.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
You sound great, Bandy, over there. You sound great. No homo.
I cannot hear you, though.
You can't hear me? Huh. Well, hopefully everybody else can still hear me, but make sure you guys find us on Twitter at @theblitz_sports, as well
Now
as
I can hear you.
Twitch and YouTube at WZZNTV. And if you guys want to join in, you can just for a little bit, because as soon as we hit this second hour, we'll have James Benedetto on from Tide Illustrated. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking a lot of Alabama fun, and he can get into a little bit more, so we'll probably ask him about the Super Bowl and how he felt about it. But I do want to talk about this whole the field condition, okay? It's come to a point where you think, oh, well, the NFL's been around for so long, you think maybe they'd come up with a field that they could use universally for all stadiums, and it would work perfectly for them, you know?
You would think so.
It's been around for so long. You really would think so. But this field looked amazing, okay? And they've been working on it for 2 years to get it ready for this one game. You know how they work in advance to get these areas set up. They get this stuff all worked, and then they put it in, okay? Right. This field looked spectacular, but the game that we've seen on the field was anything but spectacular thanks to the slip and slide action that was going on. We saw big plays happen, and it was wonderful. But a lot of those big plays happened from, a wide receiver taking a cut and the cornerback just sliding and falling down, okay? That is how these guys got so wide open. A lot of them were able to kind of keep their feet and stay with it, but it ruined a lot of how well some of these cornerbacks actually are, or even the safeties, okay? Wide receivers were able to get around some cuts, but when it came to the quarterbacks moving, the linemen moving, it was terrible. I was going to say, I don't even know, but it was terrible, okay? Especially around the painted areas, because those were the areas I was thinking, it's just the paint. The paint must still be, like, wet or something. There's a slip out on that. It's like, no, the whole stadium, the entire field was just sliding all over the place. And it really does, it brings up the question, and it makes me sad, because it's like, this looks natural grass, okay? It was natural grass. They obviously were putting it in. And now this pretty much gives an excuse to why the NFL needs to move to all turf fields, or at least something of the mix, okay? We talked about the Titans getting this new helix-powered, turf that they're putting in that's been in their facilities for the last year, and they say it's great, but obviously they're going to say that. But we see some comments about this, the stadium, and it really is, it really is exactly what people are thinking, okay? The NFL spent 2 years in the best part of the $1 million preparing a brand new perfect pitch, and the players keep slipping all over the paint. Yeah, it wasn't just the paint, though. It was like like getting it prepped for so long and it's still not working out. You know the ground screw's like, wow, we really fluffed it up, okay? 2 years to prep this stuff, okay?
2 years to prep and you still mess it up.
Yeah, $800,000 to get it ready. Being one of, is one of the biggest games to be seen by anybody, okay? And we've had many championship games before in college and in football, and it's like, when is it going to be perfected, Because I'm just glad that we didn't have any crazy injuries come from this field, because if you've ever tried to make a cut on some slick grass or some grass that will come up very easily, you are going to risk either hyperextending your knee or an ACL injury. You're going to get a lot of that stuff. Either way, music popped up out of nowhere. Thanks, Bandi. But we're going to hop into a break, guys. When we come back, James Benedetto's going to hop on with us and talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl as well as the Alabama basketball, because they're number one. Oh, yeah, that's right. We might get some more talk, and then later on in the show at 3:30, we'll have the play-by-play with the Bandi man. And we got a lot of interesting news to come from that. I'm looking forward to all of it, Bandi. To a good second hour, okay? You guys keep on listening, because it's going to get even better going into the second. Don't go anywhere, because you're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
The Lodge at Guntersville State Park. From the gorgeous long views of the lake from the Bluff Side rooms to dinner at the Pinecrest room, Guntersville State Park needs to be on your bucket list this year. What an ideal place for a family staycation or a romantic getaway. Guntersville State Park has it all. This is a great time to book your visit, and depending on the time of year, you might want to bring the clubs and take in a round at Eagle's Nest. Make plans today to visit the Lodge at Guntersville State Park. If it didn't exist, you'd have to invent it. Guntersville State Park.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise in a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats. This hour of The Blitz is brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Online at FlemingHSV.com. Welcome to the evolution of sports radio.
You see, in this industry, just like in life, everything evolves.
Call 256-576-4977 to make your audible for the Blitz.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Afternoon Blitz. Here are your hosts, Captain Cool and the Bandi Man.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody, to an Afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandi Man, Bailey Lowry. And you guys cannot call in right now, okay? You can't call in because we got a great guest on with us. But I will remind you that this hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, the best place to get the best vehicles for the best prices. Make sure you guys drive home in a brand new 2023 Bronco, Mustang, or if you're into trucks, they have a plethora of nice ones from you, ranging from the F-150 to the Maverick to the Ranger. All of them are great options, so head on down and get you one right now. Bobby White and his crew will take care of you guys. Find out more at WoodyAndersonFord.com. Now, we have a lot of Super Bowl talk to talk about, but we're not going to talk about that, at least as much in this second hour, thanks to the other amazing news that's going on, and that is Alabama being ranked number 1 atop every other team in the country, as well as the SEC. SEC who? Oh, well, it's just Alabama's the SEC. But that is one guest on the line named James Benedetto from Tide Illustrator. James, how are you doing today?
I'm great, guys. Thank you for having me on.
It's good to have you on as well, and I mean, we got a lot to talk about. Okay, James, this is we're finally here. Okay, we talked about it earlier in the year. We didn't want Alabama to really be at that number 1 spot, but now it has finally come. Do you think it couldn't have come at a better time, because we're only 6 games out from the madness of March?
I think it's kind of a culmination of a lot of things. This team is really, especially in this last 2-week stretch, I know we've been talking about this stretch of games being an important, time of the year for Alabama. And, that performance in Auburn, I think, just really sold a lot of voters on why this team should be the number 1 team in the country. I think there's a lot of conversation, and they were building steam, but the way they fought back at a place that they haven't really had a lot of success with, especially in the Nate Oates era, for them to go into Neville Arena and get that win, especially the way they won, was really impressive.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at that the first half, the game was all tied up, 37 apiece. And going into that second, you kind of had a sense of, oh, this game's going to be a little bit closer than most. And it was, but we still got the amazing performances from Brandon Miller, as well as Mark Sears and the rest of the squad. And we saw a good 40 points in that second half from the Tide, and they finished off 77-69. But even prior to that, I mean, they've had some amazing performances, obviously just destroying LSU, having everybody else's name, the game against Vandy. I mean, we've seen it all year long, and most of the teams that they've lost to, it's been pretty close, except for that one Oklahoma matchup. But obviously that Big 12 has always been that question spot where, oh, it's the SEC and Big 12 that are atop this college world. Is that still the same case? Because, I mean, that Big 12 may not have that one team, but they do have all of those teams that are really doing well on this season.
I think so. I mean, if you look at the rankings, I think that at least 4 made it into the top 25 this week. I know TCU has really kind of fallen off the map, but they're still ranked really high, and obviously Texas is in there as well. And then I think you have Iowa State and Kansas and Kansas State, 5, that are all in that. And I think that just shows you how competitive that conference is. Oklahoma gave teams some trouble still. I mean, I know Kansas really took care of them this week, but I think that Oklahoma's still a really good team. And like I said, I mean, the SEC, you're kind of seeing it kind of taper off a little bit. I mean, you watched Tennessee this week lose 2 buzzer beaters. Now, they were in that game, and they were, again, honestly, one make, one miss, one way or the other, goes their favor. Mm-hmm. But you're really starting to see that this Tennessee team isn't as I think they have the talent, and I think they have everything around them. I just don't think they can score as easily as they may have been in the past. And I think that's what's going to be really interesting going into Wednesday's matchup, is to see kind of how all of that works out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just after watching this game, I now just talk about Rylan Griffin and Mark Sears for a second, because these two were truly special in this Auburn matchup. Really, just seemed to be one of the only guys on the Alabama on this Alabama squad who were able to hit from outside and really just helped elevate this Alabama squad into a road win over Auburn. But really just talk about these two and just how much they impact this Alabama team as a whole.
Yeah, those two especially, but I also want to add in Jaden Bradley into this conversation because without his start to the second half, I don't think Alabama wins. I think he scores, 6 of the first 8 or 6 of the first 9 points in the second half, and it's all just driving to the rim, making their bigs, defend him and foul him and go, make him go to the line. Now, he didn't have a good free throw shooting percentage. I think that's something that Nate Oates and company are going to want him to fix. But then it allows Mark Sears and Rylan Griffin to kind of find their rhythm from outside. And, when you have a guard that's going to go downhill, get into the paint, it makes that defense collapse, which makes everything else in Alabama's offense work that much better. You brought up Rylan Griffin earlier. He's now got 4 games in his last 5 where he scored 12 or more points. This guy still hasn't started a game. This is all him coming off the bench. You want to talk about a team that is completely deeper than the team that it was last year. I mean, that's incredible to think about where Nate Oates had said that last year's team, he couldn't have a rotation because he would be taking his best players off the floor, where this year he's got at least 2 sets of guys or 2 sets of starting 5 units that can go out there and really dominate a game. And Rylan Griffin's become that player. And, I saved Mark Sears for last, and it's definitely not for least, but we've seen Mark Sears be this guy all year. Especially when Brandon Miller is having an off night, which, for him to go 0 for 7 from behind the arc and still finish with, I think he finished with 12 or 13 points there, is a great outing for him, especially in a game where they were going to try to shut them down, especially the way they were trying to face guard him and not help off. But, Mark Sears really, when he needs to turn it on, he turns it on. And, you want to talk about the best transfer pickup of the year, it's definitely Mark Sears. I mean, I don't think there's any question to it, to be honest with you.
Very good stuff from James Benedetto from Tide Illustrated. And now looking forward into the season, obviously you kind of touched on Tennessee. And, I mean, these are the 2 teams coming up that Alabama has yet to face off against. And, I mean, they might cause some problems moving forward because right now Alabama's sitting 12-0 in the conference play, which is amazing already. But going forward, they're going to be playing against some of the better teams like Tennessee, and then the final game of the season against this Texas A&M team. Do you see this team continuing to really have that just explosive performance against these guys, or what do you think is the biggest thing that they might challenge the Tide with moving forward? And that Texas A&M game being the final game of the season, what type of energy do you think the team's going to bring to that?
I think with Tennessee especially, I mean, Tennessee's a top 5 defensive efficiency team according to KenPom. So you're probably expecting another game as close to what Auburn was going to be like. Alabama's really going to have to grind through that for offensive possessions and especially for offensive points. But I think, again, it comes down to Alabama's defense and how they're able to transition that into offense. We saw that especially with how Auburn kind of finished up. I mean, if you're going to send teams to the free throw line, and you're going to give them at least 26 to 30-something chances at the line, that's not exactly a winning recipe, but Alabama was able to overcome that. I don't think they'll be able to do that twice, especially with Tennessee. Tennessee is struggling to score, and I think they're going to try to at least tack the paint as much as they possibly can, get Bediako and Clowney into foul trouble early, and try to see if they can kind of take some of those depth pieces out for Alabama. But, again, if Alabama gets scoring early and they get up into that fast-paced offense that they like to do, I just don't know how Tennessee's going to be able to slow it down for a full 40 minutes. They'll be able to slow it down at times, but I don't know if you're going to be able to do it the whole 40 minutes. Talking about Texas A&M, I mean, they're an extremely gritty team. And for them to finally get some ranking, this year, in the coaches poll, they got 25th. I think it's just deserved. I think they've, maybe because of the schedule, maybe people have overlooked them a little bit. I think they're a really good team, and I think that they're kind of circling Alabama as that last game in the regular season, right before you go to the SEC championship tournament. You're trying to maybe upset them really quickly before they get into March. I think that Nate Oates and company will circle that as a trap game, make sure that the team is ready to go. But honestly, with the way they played at Auburn, the way they've been playing these last couple games, I just don't know how you beat an Alabama team that has been able to win in so many different ways. They can blow you out. They can come from behind. That you can take away their best scorer. They'll find somebody else to step up. It's a really different Alabama team that I think is going to really shock some people when it gets into March.
Yeah. So just kind of kind of in that sense with how you described the Texas A&M just circling around this Alabama squad, I mean, does that really kind of make it fitting that they're the final game of the regular season before going into the madness of March?
I think it's kind of one of those great things of how the college basketball year plays out, right? I mean, I know that Nate Oates has said that they have not gone there and played yet in his tenure. So I think that that's a cool thing that it's the first road trip that Nate Oates and company are going to take out there, and it's going to be a major game. So I think it's just perfectly fitting. But, again, with the way Alabama's been all year, they've dealt through so many trials and tribulations with this team, and they've been able to find ways to maintain its successful streak. And I just think that this team's a lot hungrier than maybe people give them credit for. I think they look at so many freshmen on the floor and so many freshmen that are contributing, and they go, oh, they're so young, they need another year to figure out how to win and all that stuff. I don't think you need that. And I think that, especially with that Texas A&M game right at the end, I think you're going to find maybe, obviously it depends on the next couple games coming in, but if the team's rolling, that's going to be a statement game for them going into March. Absolutely.
Exactly. James Benedetto on with us from Tide Illustrated. And I want to look forward even more now to the March Madness because, I mean, the only teams that have caused Alabama trouble that have really just pushed them to the limits and even gotten wins was Gonzaga. Obviously got that one good earlier into the season. It was around December. And then we look forward and we see other teams that got them like Oklahoma. And, I mean, these are all out of SEC teams. They're all pretty decent teams, Gonzaga being the better of the two. And then who was the third one that got them? I forget what was the third team that beat them?
Oh, goodness.
They don't lose much.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been very often, that's for sure.
Yeah, either way, it was Connecticut. Okay, yeah, I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, UConn.
Okay, but I mean, those two teams even, I mean, those are big time teams, very historical teams when it comes to men's basketball in college. And I mean, just going into the March Madness, it's going to be a bunch of unfamiliar teams they're going to have to face off against. Out of really all of these teams, I mean, who do they not want to find themselves playing? What type of team? Obviously, it doesn't have to be anything specific, but if any of those teams do come up, what team would cause this Alabama squad the most trouble going forward?
Well, my thing is all three of them have something in common. They have a big scoring down-low presence. You're talking about Drew Timmeys of the world that demand the ball in the low post. I think that has given Alabama trouble this year. Now, they did a great job against Oscar Tshiebwe in Kentucky, but, that Kentucky team's been so on and off, and now you're starting to see them kind of come on at times. I mean, I know the Georgia game didn't really show that, but with Tshiebwe being able to be such a pick-and-roll presence, it makes teams really have to plan around them defensively. I think if you're going to expand it out to some in the conference, I mean, you look at, Iowa's got a big man that's got a huge low post presence. I don't think Alabama wants any part of him. I don't think they really even want another rematch with North Carolina.
It was a tough one.
Baycott is an unbelievable player. And, that team, I think they've always done it every year. It's like North Carolina is the Dukes of the world. They just turn it on when they get into March. They just know how to win in those situations. And I just don't know if Alabama's ready to play a team that's going to be that hungry to get back at them, especially, with that game going into overtime. And it was a thriller, but you could see how close that was because they were able to really control the ball low in the paint. And, they maintained possession a lot longer than Alabama did. So I think teams that have bigs that, they really operate the offense through that player, I think makes Alabama a little bit wary.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you're going to try to outshoot Alabama, it's not going to work well for you. Unless Alabama just goes completely dead cold, I just don't see that happening. Alabama can outrun teams. They can play with the best of them in terms of tempo. So it really is going to be a team that's going to have to slow the game down. It's going to have to throw it to a big man and force Bediako, Clowney, even Noah Gurley in that instance, Pringle as well, to get into foul trouble, and that's really what's going to hurt them.
Exactly. And just like with Alabama, every other team does have their Achilles heel, we could say, in the college world, because none of them are perfect, okay? Alabama is the best at the moment, okay, but even they have their own faults. And I remember watching that North Carolina game. I was at the gym, and I just kept looking up at the TV. I didn't even get any of my workout in, but it was a heck of a game. But, really, at the end of the day, I mean, if this team can go undefeated in the conference, just what would that that mean for Alabama basketball and kind of just the entire school moving forward? Because this is something, we don't see much of a good Alabama team. I mean, the last time they were in the top, or at least the last time they were in the number one spot was, I believe, back in 2002. So it's something kind of a resurgence of this Alabama squad that I honestly love to see.
Yeah, I mean, the first time it's number one in the AP poll since 2002, and then they've never been ranked number one in the coaches poll until today. So, I mean, it's really showing that Alabama and what Nate Oates has done has been, tremendous. I think it's really put Alabama as a considerable basketball school, and I think you can really start saying, okay, Alabama every year should be in this type of conversation of making a run into March. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be a top 5 team every year. I'm saying that you need to be competing for the SEC championship, competing for a place in March Madness, that's for sure. I think the biggest thing, if we're really looking at it, and I think that this is what Oates and the rest of his crew are looking at, is a number one seed. You're playing in Birmingham. I think that that's a big thing. I know that they had Gonzaga, and that didn't work out well. But, Drew Timme was just unbelievable that day. But I think hosting your first 2 rounds in Birmingham, not having to travel, and it makes it a little bit, continuing to put basketball on the map here in Alabama. But also, I think for the team, just it's basically a home away from home, playing at Legacy Arena. I think they definitely want that, and then I think you can kind of see how much easier that trip to Houston becomes, because really you're only making 1 or 2 more stops before you have to get there.
Yeah.
So it really, I think that that's what they're looking at, and I think that's the big goal right now. Obviously, they want the SEC championship as well. But I think really circling in on Birmingham and saying, okay, if we could host 2 games here, it makes our life a lot easier.
Great stuff from James Benedetto from Tide Illustrated, talking to Alabama basketball. And now moving over to Alabama football, because I don't believe we got to talk to you about the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator hires, and the defensive coordinator being Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees for the offensive side. How big is this for Alabama, and what do you expect from these 2 coaches moving forward? And could Tommy Rees be the predecessor to Nick Saban maybe? He's 30 years old, so...
I mean, we're going to have to start having those conversations.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're getting there. All I've heard about from both guys is obviously great things. More from the Kevin Steele side, just because he's been here before.
Yeah.
I've talked to some former players, and I'm having an article that's going to come out this week, just about what his impact was when he was here in 2007. I think a lot of the former players loved his mentality, and I think of what they're bringing back is that old school mentality, and especially for a defense that was a little bit undisciplined at times last year, he's going to be able to really correct that. I heard that from one player, that he does not take penalties very well. This team's going to be extremely disciplined next year, so I think that for fans that have been asking for a little bit more of that tenacity, especially just in the team culture, but also on defense, you're getting that back, and Kevin Steele is what I've been told.
Oh, yeah.
Rees, a lot of people like Tommy Rees. I think the run game that people have been dying for, right? Like, I feel like this is kind of like a flashback to some of the older Alabama teams. We're going to run the ball. We're going to control the ball. We're going to beat you up on defense. We're going to kind of dominate that line of scrimmage. We're going to, impose our will early. I think people have been dying for that around here, and I think that that's exactly what you got in both coordinator hires. We'll have to see if it works with this new age college football where you got Josh Heupels of the world, doing spread offenses and basically running the run and gun. We'll have to see if that works. But, if it will bring a lot of excitement for fans who have been dying for a little bit more of that tenacity and that little bit more of that angry Alabama team. And I think you got that with both these guys.
Well, for sure. And maybe bring a Derrick Henry style running back in, and I'm pretty sure some of those teams will be a little scared of the running game. And then you're able to kind of switch it up. You're able to run the ball as much as you can, really, until the team starts kind of guessing it, and then that's kind of when you chuck the ball up to a speedy wide receiver down the corner. But great stuff by James Benedetto. And I guess we'll leave it at that, because there's a lot to get into for the rest of your day as well as ours. So we appreciate you hopping on with us, but let the people know where they can find you online and on socials.
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter at James_Benedetto, and follow us at Tide Illustrated. We have our Twitter account there, and then also we're AlabamaRivals.com. We got great stuff coming up every day, and we're actually right now going through a meet the prospects. So we're kind of introducing everybody to the recruiting class, and I'm going through each prospect. That we have one on Caleb Downs, and tomorrow morning will be one on Jalen Hale. So we got a whole bunch of really exciting stuff coming up, and then obviously a whole bunch of basketball coverage, and we'll see where it goes.
Great stuff. I bet Drew DeArmond from the Recruiting Blitz would love to see about that. So, but either way, thanks for hopping on with us, and you have a great rest of your day, James. Hopefully we can get you a little bit later in this basketball season, and hopefully this Alabama team will still be at number 1.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.
For sure.
Anytime.
We appreciate you. Good stuff right there from James Benedetto from TideIllustrated.com. And I got to say, okay, the Alabama win over Auburn, yeah, that's a good one, okay? Obviously, you love to see it happen. It's the Iron Bowl in basketball pretty much, okay?
That is true. It is the Iron Bowl of basketball.
Exactly. But it's one of those things. We're going to have to see them yet again on March 1st, okay? So it's going to come quick. We're going to get a nice little a revival of it again. But this one will be at Alabama, so it'll be nice.
And what's happened to every team that's walked into every SEC team that's walked into Coleman Coliseum this year?
They've lost.
By a lot.
By a lot. A lot. Okay, we're not talking a little, guys. All right.
We're talking a lot.
We're talking a lot. Let alone the away games where we see Alabama still putting up 20+ points against teams. But I mean, you look at the Florida Alabama game. Okay, 97-69. That you don't want to be that team. And then you look back a little bit further, just a game before, 2 games back. You see what happened to Vanderbilt the second time they played, which is sad to think about because again, Vanderbilt's not a bad team. Obviously, the SEC's still lower this season to an Alabama team that is just on a roll, but 101-44.
I mean,
that's a high school team. Come on.
And you get the best team in the country after a loss to Oklahoma.
No.
Yeah,
you don't want that.
You just got on the revenge path. It's nothing against Vandy.
No, nothing against Vandy at all. All right, because it happened to LSU.
They were just
too.
Unfortunately the next game up.
Exactly. I mean, it happened to LSU, and you know what? They weren't even on a rival or a revenge path right there. They beat them January 14th in Alabama.
We're always on a revenge path with LSU.
Yeah, 106 to 66. I guess it always is coming over from football and all that stuff. But it's always great to see Alabama just being dominant, and hopefully they can continue that. Hopefully they have a better game against a Auburn team at Coleman Coliseum compared to the one matchup that actually did scare me, which was also at that Coliseum, which was against Mississippi State. The game ended 66-63. So we don't want to see any of that. We want to see some blowouts, all right? I don't care if the game's not entertaining for the other fans. I just want to see some dunks, some three-pointers, and some dubs up on the board. But we're going to hop into a break, guys. When we come back, some spectacular gaming talk with the Bandy Man on the E-Play-by-Play. We got things rolling, Bandy. Starting to sound good here on that new board. You guys don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today. Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at ValleyEquipmentRents.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
The safety oath. Repeat after me. I will safely bring safety to my facility and keep it safe. I will safely keep my people safe. I will put safety first in everything I do, and I will safely do so with Grainger. When you think safety, think Grainger. Grainger's got over 100,000 safety products to help keep our facility safe and our people safer. When it comes to safety, Grainger's got your back. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Network. I am the Bandi Man Bailey Lowry, joined across the glass by Captain Cool John Abraham.
Yo, that music was nice and loud.
It was nice and loud.
I loved it. I'm glad we're hearing a little bit more of these songs. I haven't heard them all this year. So.
You haven't heard them all this year?
No, I haven't.
Not at all.
I mean, this entire time we've been doing this show, half the time I don't know any of the songs outside of the beginning lyrics. Okay.
See, I'm making it. I'm sounding like I'm questioning you, but I'm trying to also test the audio levels by doing this.
No, I understand that because right now you're sounding
you haven't
good.
heard all these songs?
You're sounding good right now.
As I'm adjusting with the bars?
You gotta adjust with those bars sometimes, okay?
But this hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, the best place
to get the best vehicles
for the best prices.
Oh yeah, drive home in a brand new 2023 Bronco, Mustang, or if you're into trucks, Bobby White and his crew have a plethora of nice ones for you, as well as used vehicles. And you know what? If you want to get your car serviced, just get it checked out. You don't need to drive a Ford, okay? This isn't one of those parking lots that has Ford parking only, okay? This is everybody can come in, check out the nice service lanes, get their car nice and quality checked out, and then get shipped out, and you'll be great to go for the road ahead. But that is Woody Anderson Ford. You can find him online at woodyAndersonFord.com. And tell Bobby White and his crew, well, we sent you.
Indeed, tell them that we sent you to those magnificent service lanes. And we got some good video game news today.
Nice.
Capcom Cup Last Chance qualifiers are currently going on, as Capcom Cup is this week.
Sweet.
Pretty much the World Championships of Street Fighter. This is where everyone gathers. This is the prime place if you're a Street Fighter player to test out your mettle, and this is the top of the top.
Yeah.
We have Riot banning 4 Game Changers players, as well as Symmetra is actually kind of broken right now in Overwatch 2, but not in a good way.
Boo.
That's all coming up here on the E play-by-play.
Time to catch up on esports with E-Play-by-Play with the Bandi Man.
And as we get started here, as I bring this down, there we go. Turn that up a little bit. All right, I'm going to make my way over. Right now, we got the Capcom Cup Last Chance qualifiers.
Sweet.
Again, anything in everyone's Street Fighter, this is where you want to be. But the Last Chance qualifiers are exactly what they sound like. This is like a little mini tournament to get your way into Capcom Cup if you didn't originally qualify. And what's kind of crazy, we actually have a good amount of big names that have either already gotten knocked out of this Last Chance qualifier or who are currently still in it.
And we got Problem X, a previous Capcom Cup winner who mains M. Bison and Alex, currently in the losers bracket, against Itabashi Zangief, one of the the best Zangief player in Japan.
Jeez.
And the reason he's so high up on their tier list is because of this guy. And he doesn't even play Geef anymore.
Not even playing Geef.
No.
Who's
he plays
playing?
G.
G?
G, the president of the Earth. That's his actual title.
I don't know Street Fighter as much, but I really want to, okay, man?
Yeah, that's his actual title, the president of the Earth.
That alone makes me want to play it even more.
We've got Tokido.
Tokidos.
Again, been playing since Street Fighter 4 days. A veteran player. Still sitting at the top of losers bracket. And what I'm glad to see, there is one Oro player still in losers bracket trying to make his way in by the name of Broski.
Broski.
And this is one of the coolest Street Fighter players I've seen.
I mean, he's also playing as Ura.
Oro.
Like
the hermit. Like just the mid-tier that nobody plays.
Yeah, well, hey, good for him. He's still going to succeed with it.
Yeah. You know why? Because nobody plays him.
Well, that's
nobody
all that matters.
practices the matchup.
That's all that matters, though. I mean, that's a part of the game itself, okay? It's the minding games within it. It's like, oh, well, nobody will expect me playing this guy because, you know what? When I do play this guy, they're not going to know the moveset as well as maybe other players like, I don't know. Where's Ryu at on this whole thing?
Ryu's probably like high mid.
Okay, high mid. All right. That's good where he's at.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like for the cookie cutter mascot character, like the character pretty much anyone can hop on and learn how to play. Yeah. I mean, that's a good spot to be.
Yeah, like Sonic and Sonic or Sega Tennis.
Yeah. Wait, really?
It's a real throwback right there to Xbox 360.
He's only a mid-high tier in that game. I thought he was a top tier.
His stats, they're all just like half. They're all half because he's a very mid player. But obviously, if you know how to play him, obviously you're gonna play him pretty well because again, he has those average stats all across the board instead of one stat being low and the other stats being high. I love that game, Bandy. I had all representation for all Sega players.
I am with it. Well, I'm trying to see. Because the live stream's currently going on right now for these qualifiers, and we are currently in losers bracket. Nemo got put into losers?
Ooh.
Very top Urian player. I would say top 3 Urian player.
Really?
In the world, in losers bracket, going up against Yanoob. Play him or not. Do
we know who Yanoob is?
I do not know who Yanoob is.
Well, that's kind of sad.
No sponsor to the name.
Ooh.
I mean, probably a guy looking... He's been on the grind and now has entered Capcom Cup to try to make a name for himself.
We got to check who beat the other guy because that's a pretty big thing being thrown down and playing against guys that we don't know their names of yet.
Exactly. I mean, this is the tournament to do it.
Yeah.
But now Riot has handed out an 8-year suspension to Valorant Game Changers player and disciplines 3 others in a wave of punishments.
What?
Now, do you know kind of what Game Changers is?
I've heard it before. Is it a brand or is it what is it? What is it exactly?
It's like it's a tournament series that's focused on including,
people who change the game.
Like diversity.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like
diversity in the community.
Non-conforming genders, you know.
Exactly.
Like marketed like those kind of leagues.
Yeah.
But what happened in 2 separate statements? Riot said that former EQ Cerise, that's one of the programs, player Alex Dyslexic Luong, his gamer tag was dyslexic.
Did he have dyslexia?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he's been handed a suspension from competing in Riot-sanctioned events for cheating in a match against CLG Red that took place way back in October. He also violated the gender eligibility entry requirement.
What?
As a result, Dyslexic has been banned from competing in Riot-sanctioned events for 8 years.
I don't.
Yeah,
okay.
The gender eligibility entry requirement.
What do you? This is the whole point of Game Changers, I thought.
Yeah, because I mean, well, what happened? Because
is he just a normal man, so he can't even be a part of it?
I feel like I'm walking on eggshells right now.
Just say what you need to say. You have a button down there if you accidentally.
I do not. We don't have a button for this board.
You know what? It's online, Bandy. We already talked about a lot of sensitive subjects, so just say what you need to say. I think it'll be fine.
But in a statement from Riot, Dyslexic, who identifies as he/him, reached out to Nabichu. What are these names? Nabichu, a former teammate whose name is Jennifer Cho, played Dyslexic Dyslexic during the cheating match, has also been banned for 5 years for misleading officials about the gender eligibility of Dyslexic and was guilty by association. So, back to the Riot statement, Dyslexic identified as a he/him reached out to Nabichu, who was then a member of E.G. Sarais,
Okay.
and offered to mislead officials by changing his gender identity to one of a non-binary player in order to play against CLG Red. Nabichu agreed and assisted Dyslexic by supporting his gender identity as non-binary to EQ Sarais and to tournament officials. So, Jennifer Cho has been banned for 5 years for guilty by association, and Dyslexic has been banned for 8 for identifying as non-binary.
I thought,
when they're not non-binary.
This is
But see, here comes the slippery slope.
Okay.
Who are you to tell him that he can't identify as non-binary?
What is it, like polyamorous or something like that, where you can
No,
change?
that's something that we don't want to open that can of worms. I'm telling you right now.
Look, I will say this, okay? I'm not fully versed on the whole spectrum that is going on. I have no problem with it. People do what they want to do, but I don't understand why there needs to be a specific gender requirement. Like, you need to have this put in, because genders can change at any time, can't they?
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of Game Changers.
Exactly.
It's trying to include people it's trying to give the
he might have changed his mind.
non-binary and trans and I don't know how many there are now.
There's a lot.
Yeah, but either way,
Infinite amount.
Trying to give them a platform.
Yeah.
To compete and showcase who they are and how good they are at the game.
I would love the Philip to call in on this one.
But I mean, again, here's the slippery slope. You say that they don't identify as non-binary. Again, there is evidence in this certain case. But what if another case like this pops up?
They're gonna have to do something about it. I don't know.
What happens then?
It gets to a point where you might have to take that rule all the way out, but then at that point, then you think back, oh, well, we already banned these people for a certain amount of years. Should we take that ban off? It's like, I don't want to compare this at all. I mean, it's a totally different thing, but like legalizing, marijuana and stuff like that. People who were taking marijuana before it was legalized, a lot of them are still in jail because of it, okay? So this rule being in effect back then changes. Are these people going to still be banned from the game moving forward, or how's it going to work, and why would it happen in the first place to where it needs to change now, and why it didn't before? There's a lot of very big questions. I bet a lot of people are confused on it. I, one of them, am. But at the same time, pretty interesting story, to say the least.
That's not it, though.
Okay.
2 more players have been suspended.
What'd they do, Bandi?
What are these names again? This Caroline Peterson, who goes by Caro Smacks.
Caro Smacks.
And Megan Lai goes by Lemon Oreo.
Those are lemon Oreo is not a good mix.
That's the worst one.
That's a bad combination. Just lemon juice with Oreo dipped inside of it, and then eat that. Dude Perfect did something like that.
Lemon and milk? No.
Lemon and milk?
But they've been banned from competing in Riot events for 1 year after the pair sent a discriminatory meme in a Discord channel that held around 70 people. The discriminatory meme, which was also sent in October last year, was racist in nature, and the investigation was aided by an anonymous reporter. And again, Riot Games does not condone any discriminatory acts or behavior, including those that revolve around race, sex, age, or any other personal characteristic. I mean, we got receipts, Riot. We got the articles.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put out the PR fluff you want, but we know what happened.
They don't.
As much as you try to brush it under the rug, we know what happened.
They don't condone it now. Still, that is. I mean, you gotta know where your platform is. You gotta know what you're doing whenever you post that out. Because I mean, you are held to a bigger standard whenever you're with these organizations, whenever you're playing these games. Working with these games to have it as a bigger brand. To outreach to more people. So when you're just like, send around memes, but if you're gonna send around, memes that are going to be, racy in nature, maybe first off, don't send them out. Okay, check these boxes. All right, don't send it out in the first place. That's a good one right there. The second one is probably send it in a private chat. That's a good one right there. Or send it literally in person, or like show it in person instead of doing anything. Like, hey, look at this silly little meme. It's not something you send to 70 more people.
What just got me is that I did not expect to hop on esports today and read an article about a gender identity conspiracy.
Yeah, that's
in Valorant.
It's 2023.
And being used to cheat in a Valorant Game Changers match.
Anything can happen, Bandi.
And then getting banned 8 years for it. The game's not even probably going to be around for 8 years.
No, probably
So
not.
they're never playing Valorant again.
Sheesh. Well, I mean, it could be the next League of Legends. Overwatch. No, it's not. Okay. I couldn't name.
It's trying to be the new CS:GO, and nothing's becoming the new CS:GO because CS:GO is never going away.
It's not. And I honestly, when it comes to Overwatch, because you think, oh, they're kind of similar in the way that there's agents and there's heroes and stuff like that. Before I even played Overwatch, I knew a lot of the characters' names. I don't know any of the players' names for, Valorant. I couldn't name one player from Valorant right now. And you've talked about them extensively as well on this show. I still couldn't remember any of them.
Yeah, that's just what gets me. If there wasn't actual evidence that they were conspiring, yeah. I don't know what the word. Couldn't remember what the word was.
It's a Monday, dude.
It's a Monday. We got a new board.
Yeah.
But if there wasn't evidence they were conspiring to do this, I mean, what could they have done to tell them otherwise?
I know. It's weird. It's just like, because then who'd be at fault right there? Because then Riot would be under siege yet again.
Yeah, it's like it's a lose-lose. I mean, either you call them out for cheating, and then you get called a bigot. It's like, oh no, you're just being non-binary phobic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a word for that?
Is there a word for being non-binary phobic? Hey, you. Okay, she's not listening to me. Is there a word for non-binary phobic, like being, I don't know, just.
So being phobic.
I don't know. Either way, it's
being
a lose-lose.
phobic. I think it's just phobic. You're just being phobic.
You're just being scared.
I think that's what it is because there's so many different things you can be phobic
You're just
of.
scared.
Exactly. There you go. You're scared of that. All right.
You're just scared of everything.
That's pretty much what it would be at that point.
But now, speaking of Overwatch 2, since you did bring it up, Symmetra's ultimate is it's creating chaos.
So, what's wrong with it now?
She got changed in the recent patch notes for the February Valentine's Day patch notes.
What changed her up a little bit?
It was mainly her ultimate.
Okay, the big shield that she puts across everything?
Yeah, the big shield.
Okay.
And it's actually causing issues with her turrets.
Oh.
And not only that, if it comes into contact with certain surfaces, it just completely disappears.
Oh, that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing when your entire ultimate is a giant wall that is supposed to block enemy fire, It's not supposed to just disappear on you like that.
This is the opposite of a good a ult gone right, where it's like, hey, Bastion, whenever he pops his ult, he just drops a bunch of bombs down. No, whenever it comes to Symmetra, she puts up her shield, disappears. You're like, okay.
Yeah. And on top of that, you know what's also disappearing?
What?
Her turrets.
Oh, so, okay.
Doing the same thing. If it's placed on certain objects, they'll just disappear.
Oh, so all of her abilities are disappearing then.
Except for like her beam and her primary fire and all that. Yeah. But yeah, like her teleporter still works.
What if her gun just disappears? She's just holding nothing.
You just got a melee.
Wait, doesn't she like slash at him with her nails?
I thought she does like a chop or something, or like either like a palm or like a chop or something.
Yeah, okay. It's been a minute.
Zenyatta still has the best one where he just kicks you like 30 feet away.
Yeah, Zenyatta's always got a best one.
No, it's kind of crazy how good that kick is.
It's I don't know why it's so much stronger than all the ones, but I mean, I guess it's because he's a robot. Obviously, there's no limits to how strong he can kick you.
No, it's to the point where I've seen multiple like game-winning plays just with the kick.
That's awesome.
It's been crazy. Like, let's say, like I've seen one where Ramattra is literally flanking around, popping ultimate, about to just be absolutely in the middle of 3 of them.
Bonk.
And then Zenyatta.
See ya.
Right off the map.
Off the map. Gone.
Just gone.
Into the pit.
He'll kick him twice, and then he's completely out of the fight, or he's just off the map dead.
It's insane. It's insane.
It's crazy how much space you can control with just one leg.
I wonder if there's a list on like how much damage each person's just melee attack deals.
Oh, there is.
There's a list on that?
There's got to be. Yeah.
There's got to be. Who would be number 1? You think Zenyatta would be that number 1 spot?
I don't know if he'd be number 1. My guess would be Junker Queen.
I think
it'd be combining like the melee damage with her bleed.
Yeah.
And her healing, that might be.
Well, it's tough as well because she like has a melee weapon in the first place that she swings.
Okay, melee Overwatch wiki. Okay, I don't care about special melee attacks. Just how much damage do they do?
Bandi,
Does it just always do 30?
Maybe it's just the kick is so like.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel
quick melee is available to all heroes except Reinhardt and Brigitte, who have their own melee attacks. Makes sense. Yeah, they swing their hammers.
That's true.
Additionally, Genji and Winston will be unable to perform a quick melee while using Dragon Blade and Primal Rage. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
If the quick melee button is pressed, Brigitte and Torbjorn will instead use their primary fire, respectively. All heroes except Hammond, Sombra, Symmetra, and Baptiste can interrupt their melee to use their ultimate.
Okay. So we don't.
That's good to know, actually.
Yeah, no, that is. But so they're all set at 30 though.
Yeah, it seems like it. But, I mean, it looks like Junker Queen, I mean, again, like her Jagged Blade, 30 plus 15 wound damage over 3 seconds.
So maybe it's just that he's kicking him from a low angle, so it maybe pops him up a little bit more.
Yeah, so all the quick melees, but if we're talking technically, Genji has the highest one with Dragon Blade with 110.
Okay, yeah.
Makes sense.
Obviously.
But if we're not counting that, who would you guess has it? I'll give you a hint, it's a tank.
Winston.
Reinhardt.
Oh,
at 85 damage.
Well, I mean, he is swinging his hammer. So.
Yeah, like that thing will rack up damage fast if you're not careful.
I mean, he doesn't have a gun. He's got to have something that causes damage.
And they just buffed him.
Oh.
And that his hammer actually does less knockback, which is, in a way,
better.
Good. Yeah, good for him if you want to stick to your targets and just absolutely brawl out like you want to with Reinhardt.
Exactly.
Just absolutely be the Mad Viking in there. Just come at me.
I don't know what it is, but since we've been talking about this, I've kind of just been. I don't know. Whenever you brought the blowback thing, I'm just thinking Halo Infinite. I want to play some Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite.
I really got to play some Halo Infinite.
Dude, I showed you that TikTok. I want to play some Battlefront 2 now.
Dude, I know. Is it cross-compatible yet?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm talking old Battlefront.
I know. That's what I'm saying. The cross. I didn't mean cross-compatible. I meant backwards compatible.
Oh, backwards compatible. I don't know actually.
I gotta get an Xbox with a disc tray, dude. I really do. So
But
many games.
We got good news on the Dead Island side.
Ooh.
So you know how we've really, when we talk about this game, that more often than not, it's bringing up that it's been delayed another week or another month or something.
Oh yeah.
Well, guess what? It's releasing a week early.
Let's go.
April 28th from April to April 21st.
Oh.
We're getting it a week early.
It's a day after my birthday.
Let's go.
Bandi.
That's perfect. what was that?
Bandi, give me it for my birthday, please.
All right, Gryffindor.
Oh, I don't want to play. I'm not playing Hogwarts.
I kind of want to. It looks good.
It looks so good. The combat looks so nice.
Although I did hear that if you go, like, there's a whole entire quest path to learn the 3 curses. And if you do that, like, it severely, like, punishes you for it. Like,
Really?
like story-wise or something. Like, it's going to make you feel bad for doing it.
Ooh.
Which is like, all right. I mean, makes sense.
Burn down the school?
I mean, I'm going down the path of the Death Eater, so.
Exactly.
I mean, makes sense.
I just like how
makes sense. I should feel bad for doing it.
Yeah, I like how you have the choice to be bad or good in that game. It reminds me of Fable, the way you can either be a hero or a villain, and it's just great. I mean, I wonder how it works fully, because I don't know why you'd still be going to the school if you're a villain, but I don't know. I might just need to hop on the game and give it a little play, but you know what? So many games are coming to Game Pass, and I got to play those ones instead, especially Bandi.
Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart's coming, as well as a game that already did come out on Game Pass now, Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Okay, I did see that.
The
and
entire game.
I did want to install it and try it.
I got the DLC because it comes with all of the DLC cars as well.
Really?
Yes, so you can download all those at 10 megabytes each, and also the Batman expansion.
How big is the game?
It's not that big. If anything, I think it's like 40 gigabytes maybe at most.
Okay.
Maybe. That might be a stretch. But also, you can get the Street Fighter cars as well.
Okay, there's Street Fighter cars?
There's Street Fighter
cars. Yeah, I'm
cars.
hopping on that.
Oh, of course.
All right. There was also a next-gen update. I'm going to briefly bring up this story before we hop into our last break. But there is a Witcher 3 next-gen update.
Yes.
And CD Projekt Red accidentally fumbled.
Oops.
But in a funny way.
Okay.
They accidentally included some not safe for work community mods into this update and put it into the base game.
I heard about this.
I don't know how you fumble this bad, but at the same time, leave it in.
Just leave it in.
Do it.
Look up the story if you want, but
don't take it out.
It's already M-rated.
Just see what happens.
See what happens.
But I mean, they are community mods. So I mean, if you include them in the base game, it's like at that point, then you gotta start paying the creators of the mods.
You got me.
And do you really want to, as a whole company, as CD Projekt Red, as a esteemed company after the revival of Cyberpunk and now Witcher, do you really want to be paying those mod creators?
No, I thought it was hilarious how you just like sit back, leave it in.
No, I was just thinking like the Dio thing, just leave it in. Do it.
Oh jeez, good stuff.
All right, but we got to hop into our final timeout. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show, wrap up the second hour. Do not go anywhere. You are listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
The new Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in South Huntsville is focused on serving great food prepared with the absolute freshest ingredients, featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. See all the delicious options at Cheeseburger Bobby's for yourself. Check out the menu and more at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to a mundane Monday. Bing, bing. Turn that music down, man. It goes from like super loud to like medium to like very quiet very quickly, okay? But welcome back, everybody.
Because I had just gotten used to the other board.
It's okay. Hey, Bandi, I'm not blaming you for anything.
I had just gotten used to it.
Bandi, don't make me raise my voice, all right? But welcome back, everybody, to the Afternoon Blitz on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. Final segment here in No Man's Land on a Monday. That started off with me having to go to jury duty. Bandi, you were doing the show earlier on Talking Ball over on our sister station, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Indeed.
And then the start of the show started off with crackles in my ear. You guys couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear Bandi, and it was all just crazy, but we all got it worked out. So at the end of the day, It was a successful Monday because then tomorrow's going to be a lot better and the rest of the week as well. So let's get on with the rest of the week without having to worry about any of that stuff, Bandy.
No, I do have a good story I didn't get to bring up during the play-by-play.
What you got?
So, EA strikes a big money deal with the English Premier League after losing the rights to FIFA.
Oh.
Because remember, now EA Sports, they don't have the FIFA license anymore.
Good.
So, people could technically make FIFA games.
There's going to be an endless amount of them.
But now that they're making this deal with the English Premier League, I mean, it's going to be very tough, if not pretty much impossible, to get some of the most popular teams into those other titles, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, because now, I mean, the EPL consists of, like, Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, many of the most popular teams in the world, especially over in England.
Yeah.
I mean, English Premier League, what do you expect?
Yeah. I understand it. That's kind of, it's good in a way, but FIFA not, renewing that deal kind of will hurt us in the long run because of this.
Yeah. But at the same time, even though they lost the FIFA license, it's kind of like they also have a lot of individual deals with teams, athletes, many other things. Like, so even though they can't do the World Cup anymore, like they can't do like a lot of like the FIFA events, it's kind of like when, oh my God, when Rory McIlroy's PGA Tour came out and the Masters wasn't a part of it.
That was pretty cringy.
Pretty cringy.
That's one way to use it.
It's going to be like that. Even though they can't do the World Cup, they have a plethora of players and teams they can choose from.
Yeah. Huh. Well, good stuff there. There were a few stories I couldn't even get to today because of the crazy morning or the crazy start to the show that we had. But it's okay because we'll be bringing it back tomorrow in 22 hours for some more Blitz Boys talk here on the Afternoon Blitz. Make sure you guys have our app, the Blitz Sports Radio, on Apple and Android devices, as well as our sister station 97.7 ESPN The Zone, because me and the Bandy Man will be at Buckhorn tomorrow covering Buckhorn basketball game.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait. It's going to be very much fun. It might be the last game of the season for us. But either way, it's going to be a great one. For you, for me, for the rest of the people in this place, as well as all the listeners, you guys have a great rest of your night. We'll be back in 22 hours. You've been listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
Go play Hi-Fi Rush.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces,